That's some great music. I got compliments. Is that what Fred left up there last week, or Wes, was that you?
I'm not sure Fred even knew he signed in. That dude thought he was in an AOL chat room for like an hour. No. What's up, everyone?
What's up, fellas?
And I'm trying to see if we're actually live because it doesn't show anything on Facebook. Oh, okay. Well, there's a couple of viewers on Facebook. Man, there's Jordan.
Yeah, I think
he's on
about 26,000 on already, Bill.
Yeah, so, I just want to make sure it's working before we kick this thing off. Like I said in the post, it could get a little hairy tonight.
It's looking good,
man. Man, how's everybody doing? We're on number 20, bro.
Emmanuel. Man, let's get it started, baby. First one of the night. I got some catching up to do. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. Appreciate that.
Man, look,
we're on episode 20.
Yeah, episode 20. I don't think we've ever been less prepared than tonight.
No.
Without a doubt.
No, we have Machete Boys coming on tonight. We got another super sticker coming in hot.
Wow.
Man, before we get on it, they're going to know what we're drinking, and I want to go ahead and say, man, I'm on the Spotted Cow. Wisconsin only.
Spotted Cow is the best beer in the country, hands down. If there's anybody in North America that wants to bring some down south, we'll pay premium for it.
And even better, if there's anybody that knows anybody for Spotted Cow, and maybe Spotted Cow wants to, sponsor the show, or just, man, we'll buy it. Let's just get the beer. And I mean, it's really, really good.
We only want cases, guys.
We're going to a lot of beer talk down here.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't already know about them, you can only get that stuff in Wisconsin. They don't sell it outside of it. You got to go in and bootleg it out, and it's great.
Well, man, Phil, speaking of Wisconsin, man, you did a little KCBS tour, huh? A little two weekends, last couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, man, I did. I hit Minnesota, Owatonna last weekend, and then this past weekend I did a double up in La Crosse, or West Salem, just outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin. And man, it was,
and the weather was nice. The weather was good.
And the weather was right up my alley. And the lows were in the low 50s, upper 40s, all week. Man, I don't think it ever broke 76. I don't know. Did a lot of fishing during the week. Man, Jeff Vanderlinde was nice enough to reach out, and Mom made the trip with me. Company help, whatever. She's available to. She can work on the road and stuff like that. So, man, we had a great time. Man, we did a lot of fun stuff. Man, it was all spontaneous. And bought some fishing poles at the garage sale. Jeff said, man, you want to go to the cabin on the lake? Yep. And, man, we worked on them on the pier. And then David Ellis, man, he hooked me up with a buddy of his. And, man, we went and fished Mille Lacs Lake, which is a super popular lake, really large lake north of Minneapolis. And, man, me and Mom, we sit there and wore them out. Mom hadn't been fishing in 50 years, and, man, she outfished me. And we're catching walleyes and smallmouth and pike, and, man, what a good time. Man, the contest was awesome. Man, had a good time seeing all those folks I don't get to see very often up north. And, man, they cooked a lot of breakfast and kept us fed with delicious food, and, man, had a pretty good results all in. So it was a great trip. Got home, I don't know, a few hours ago, around 3:00. So here we are.
Did you get Mom on the camera at all? Did she do any camera work? Get any footage for you or anything? Did you put her behind the camera?
No, man, I didn't, Bill. I'm just not at your level, bro. It's all I can do to get this shit done. You know what I mean? Every time I think about breaking out the camera, stuff goes south, and I'm like, what are you doing? Man, it's a double. It's a 30-minute turn in. Put the camera up. Man, day two, Mom, I'm asking her every 10 seconds what time it is, because I know it's kind of running tight. And then she's like, man, it's 1:33:52. I said, what? And, man, I was going for the picture of the box, and I got like a sliding picture. Here, take that. Mom, you got to run. You got to go faster than that. Man, Jeff's over there. You got time. There's Bittner.
Look out, boys. We got Austin in the house.
That's my boy. What's up, brother?
There we go.
Appreciate it, Austin.
I think you said you almost lost her on pork turn-in too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, anybody's ever cooked around me, man, it gets down to crunch time.
You got to learn to
Man, things can get a little tense. And like I like to say, look, it's not personal. We just got to fucking move, And mom's kind of like, you haven't taught me none of this. I'm like, we can go sit in a chair. And she about did too. So, I mean, but it's all good, man. 5 minutes later, we were good. Man, let me get a beer. Yeah. We got the turn-in done. So,
hey, we got Australia in the house, by the way, boys. So,
hell yeah.
What's up, James?
Hell yeah.
Very nice.
What's going on, buddy?
Man, what time is it right now? What time is it right now, James? If you can, let us know.
Yeah,
we're still working on that.
We always get confused on the time difference. So.
And by the way, Austin, I don't know if you were watching last week or not, but we got a big baller shot call out for Chris. He threw a little $300 out there. So look, just letting you know. I know you want to be the lead in the clubhouse. I'll let you boys fight it out, but still got to call him out for that, man. That was awesome. 11 a.m.
Well, I tell you, my weekend was, I went to Fort Davis, which was on the other side of Texas. Took 12 hours to get there. And, we're cooking at almost 5,000 feet, which is about the same as Denver as far as elevation. And, man, none of my stuff got done in time. It was all tight. It was, I wasn't, like I said, I think I've told both of you guys, I wasn't expecting much at awards. And, man, I ended up getting a rib call out of the deal, which was, like I said, probably overscored. But yeah, it wasn't. But Vanessa came in with a cheesecake, so it all seemed to work out, and she got her a nice little trophy. She's got it in the house. It hadn't made it to the shop yet. She was going to put it next to my Houston Rodeo trophy, but we'll see where she finally puts it. But she was pretty pumped about getting an actual trophy. She'd gotten a ribbon before at the Jack. I think she got 8th place at the Jack, but you know how the Jack just gives you. Because Wes, you've been to the Jack,
I've been there a couple times. Yeah.
Man, if you get like 8th place, it just the ribbon says honorable mention or something. I don't even think it shows the place. I don't know if that's the same for the meat categories, but I know for the dessert it just says honorable mention. So, man, she's pretty excited to get an actual trophy, if you will. So
she's a walking 180, man. It was a 180, correct?
It was a 180. Yeah, it was.
Has she ever not had a 180?
And she didn't have one in Fort Davis. She was, I think she was like a 195 and I think a 197 won it out of a 200. So,
jeez, man.
Yeah. And San Antonio Rodeo, she was 11th. So she was one out of getting a piece of hardware there. So finally cool to see her get a piece of hardware. So
she's getting in that stage where if she's not in that top 2, she's pissed off. That's a good place to be.
Man, she's turning into a cook. She's on the phone trying to find pictures of what first place dessert looked like. And she's, they posted a bunch of pictures and she's calling people. Hey, man, I saw those pictures, but man, none of those are first place. What did first place look like? She's scratching and sniffing just like all of us cooks trying to figure out, man, what's winning, so.
Yeah. And hey, and speaking of that, if you guys will, I just want to plug this new, got a little business out there. So if you'll go to www.barbecuecrooksacademy.com. I've got all the notes, guys. If you need anything, hit me up. Put in discount code fuck them. You'll get 90% off. Just let you know.
We're not getting monetized. Not getting monetized.
Right. There goes the monetization. Thanks,
And we're 9 minutes in. Didn't even make it to 10 minutes. We
did. We're good. We're going to have to rely on our audience.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, we got Machete Boys coming on tonight. Man, they've had their share of drama. And of course, man, if you guys have been watching the Texas barbecue scene, man, there's been drama this week. We're not gonna deny it. And man, one of the cooks, Brandon, which he's going to come on. Man, he had a piece of hair in his food, so we're gonna bring him in, talk to him. Of course, and Machete Boys, man, I don't want to relive it for them, but man, they had the royal strip for them, and maybe these guys or Machete Boys can, David can talk to Brandon about some of his experiences in dealing with some of this stuff. But man, first off, we'll bring Brandon into the stage. He's kind of new. He's a. How long you been cooking, Brandon? How's it going, bud?
Oh, it's going great. I've been cooking for about a year and 3 months now.
Nice. So, and you haven't yet got a GC or an RGC, is that correct or no?
Nope, no, not yet. I think best overall finish so far has been like third.
Right.
You had it in your pocket though, brother. It was yours to have for sure.
Yeah, and I think you felt it too. Sometimes you got that feeling. Appreciate it, Caesar.
I felt it, and Louis Gonzalez, DD Barbecue, felt it too. He messaged me before, like on Friday, and said, I have a good feeling about Always Forward Barbecue this weekend. And sure enough, I was well on the way.
So, man, how did it work there, Brandon? I mean, did they call out all the calls first and then do dead ass last and then do the top 10, or what was the order in which, the calls and all that stuff, happened?
Yeah. So they did the normal. They did chicken ribs and then brisket. And, I got 2 calls, 6 chicken, ninth ribs, and didn't get a call on brisket, but I wasn't worried because there were only 4 of us that had gotten 2 calls, and so nobody got 3 calls. So I wasn't worried about being out of it. Just depending on where the brisket finished and where everybody else's third meat finished. So I wasn't too. I was nervous. I was expecting a top 3 at least, because I knew that the brisket, that was one of my best briskets I had made, and I've been having serious issues with briskets.
Right.
The whole time I've been doing this, I've gotten 1 brisket call before, and I thought this brisket was probably my best brisket ever. So
when you didn't top 10, we're assuming it's automatic that you thought, man, I must have been 11th, right?
We all did.
Yeah, they called this one. They called top 15. Well, they
okay. So you were 16th, right? I mean, right? That's the mindset, I would assume.
Well, did they call DAL first, or did they start to call in the top 15?
After they did the meats, then they went through and did the jackpots. They had jackpots for 25th overall, 20th overall, 15th overall, and dead ass last. And then so they went through those. They called 25th. They called 20th, 15th, and then they called dead ass last, and they called my master ticket number. And I swear to God, nobody knew it was me because I didn't get up at first. I thought there was something wrong. I thought they called the wrong number, and then they repeated it again, and I was like, shit, that's my ticket. What the hell, And
so they hadn't even called top 10 yet.
No, they hadn't even called top 10 yet. No,
did you have to walk up there for DAL? Did you have to walk up there?
Yeah, because they give you a trophy jackpot. So
yeah, if you want that checked, you're gonna have to show everybody where you placed, huh?
Yeah, so I walked up there slowly, and then as I was walking up there, I was in the back of the big arena or the basketball arena, and everybody around was like, "No way! What? No, there's no way." I get up there, the head judge is like, no, there's something wrong. And so he goes back to computer and double checks, and he gets with Randall Kendrick's wife was there. She was helping, and she's confirmed. She's like, yeah, we had a brisket, somebody DQ brisket. And it was you. And he was like, oh yeah, you DQ brisket. And I was like, what the, I was just.
So in KCBS,
go ahead, we're already non-monetized. Just say it.
Yeah, in KCBS, they come out and they tell you before awards, hey, you've been DQ'd and we did that. So wherever you were cooking, I don't want to start any more drama. But so they don't tell you anything until award. Did you get your DAL check?
Yeah, till I went up and got the check for dead ass last.
Wow.
And I was like, it was just, all I could do was laugh and put my arms up and like, yeah, well, shit, at least I got $300 for dead ass last.
So I'm seeing that there was booing going on because they knew you got screwed.
Yeah, everybody knew, and Fred was
and too, just for the people in the comments, man, there's 118 teams, 120 teams there.
Yeah, 117 were registered, and I think 112 turned in meats.
And it's a 3 meat contest: brisket, ribs, and chicken. And man, you had 2 of them. So
Yeah.
I think most people were assuming you're going to be, top, like you say, top 3, top 5, if not, depending on the other guys that had 2 calls as well. We all start to do the math. So
yeah, this one paid out top 3, so it was. I mean, I was going to finish in the money, either way, and I figured it out. I needed like a top 30 brisket to finish third, a top 20 to finish reserve, and the only one that I probably didn't have a realistic shot at was Grand, because Ira was way ahead of everybody else. He was like 185, and the next guy was like 180 or something.
Right.
Sure.
Or however many. But yeah. So
yeah.
Or everybody else was in the 170s. He was in the 180s on his brisket. So I would have had to have a top 6 brisket to beat Ira for GC. So, but it would have been my first reserve,
Yeah. Man, at a big contest where a lot of heavy hitters were there, so it was, and some of the best cooks in the state were there, so.
Yeah, and the 3 out of the 4, so the only 4 of us had 2 walks, and the other 3 that had 2 walks finished first, second, third.
Right.
Yeah. So when did they tell you there was a hair, and how did that go down? Like, hey, we found a hair in your box, and I mean, you don't look like you have a lot of hair,
No, I mean, I shaved.
Not anymore.
Yeah, my hair is short. I always keep my hair short. I kept my hair short since I was 18 years old. So it was, and I always wear a hat, so it wasn't the hair on my head.
Yeah, it's a shit roll, man, and it doesn't matter whose it is and whatever sanctioning body. They need to do away from that. There's too many people that handle boxes, and when the boxes are open, you just don't know where it's coming from. That should be taken away immediately.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Fred was there. He said the same thing. He said to his knowledge, when he was in IBCA, they didn't even DQ for hair.
Phil spoke to the health department. Phil did get a health department.
And I did. I won't say any names, but 25 years with the state, and there is nothing attached to like hair and disease. Like, man, they've never gotten anything where hair caused something. Now, I get it. Look, man, nobody wants to sit down at a restaurant, get a plate of food, and see a hair, because it's, man, I mean, I don't know anybody, right? And we've all been there, and man, it's a kind of bad situation, right? Is it going to kill you? Not unless they're shampooing with poison, it's whatever, but nobody wants it. And man, I've talked to a few people. I've talked to some judges in KCBS, and man, what do y'all do when you do that? And man, they said they bring it to the head judge's attention, the table captain or whatever, and then they remove the hair. And they ask all the judges, hey, is everybody comfortable now? Or can you get your pieces from another part of the box? Man, try to do everything they can to make the best of a bad situation is basically what it is. Right? Like Wes said, man, you've got that box open in front of too many people to pin that on a cook, right? And, man, we're not getting in the, this ain't a Sunday afternoon where we decided to have a 6-man contest and spend $50. Man, everybody's spending $1,000 doing this. A lot of travel, a lot of money, entry fees, money's attached to it. And when you're pinning that on the cook, and that's an unfortunate situation. I'm not calling what's right or wrong, but man, I'm a cook, and I know if I'm in that situation, Brandon, I think you handled it, really well with considering the circumstances. And man, I probably myself would have been a little more upset. It's a frustrating situation.
So you did the numbers. How much did you lose? I didn't look into the payout. If you finished third or you finished second, how much did a hair cost you roughly?
Well, there were so many bonuses too. If you had finished in the top 5, like I use Chop and Block Meats. He gave a bonus $200 if you finished in the top 5, which he gave it to me anyway. So luckily, I still got that. But like Sag Miller Race Crew drums, if you cook on Race Crew drums, got 250. Well, I cook on Race Crew drums, so I missed that. It was like, and GC was 4,000, reserve was like 2,000 or 3,000, and third place was $1,500. So, I mean,
I think if this situation had been in my case, the scenario would be a lot different because I have a lot of hair. man, but you don't. So I think that shines the light on, man, what happened here? And man, shit happens, right? So it's kind of what you do after that. And man, I don't know. I don't know right or wrong, but it's definitely an unfortunate situation. And man, I feel for you on it, bro.
Yeah, I do feel bad for you. So I think we're going to give you an honorary RGC. So congratulations. We're going to let you reach in Bill or Phil's cabinet and get a belt buckle. You choose.
It did get you on the show, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Either way. And you did get $300 for that. You know, so I mean, there is some positives to pull away from it. What do you do? You know,
man, and hopefully, you know, it will make all sanctioning bodies, you know, man, all sanctioning bodies will look at this. I mean, and, you know, we've got 27 of them in Texas. So hopefully all of them will look at it and, man, use it as a point of reference to, man, help improve. Like I said, man, we spend a ton of money doing this. And whether it's a hair, something out of your control, man, I personally believe, man, the more you dig into a half chicken, you can find blood if you really want to, no matter, you know, how well it's cooked. And, man, I know that, you know, CBA's tried to make a point to, man, not necessarily be so quick to DQ a half chicken, if you will. And man, I've had comments where, man, the first kind of cut that I cut on your chicken was a little raw. So they found another bite, which, it's the way it should be, you know, or man, if they don't want to taste it or whatever, just give it a low score and pass the box. Is there somebody that, man, I ain't touching that food? Yeah, just score it and move on. Let somebody else, you know, maybe not the whole table's going to, you know, I mean, these are barbecue judges. It's, man, they're not, you know, and it's
got a lot of roles in this.
Appreciate it, bro. I was getting parts.
It's, you know, you talk about the ribs or a slice and, you know, you get into the whole thing of, hey, if they're still connected, look, there's some of these things that are so barely connected and you got to judge. It's like, well, it's tough. Pull the damn two pieces of meat apart. Unless it's just, you know, really together, it doesn't. Just pull it apart and eat it. We shouldn't get this technical when it comes to a food sport. You know,
man, I can understand if you leave chicken pins in or you know, it's correct. A foreign object, you know, and that's the onus is definitely on the cook. Man, you left, you know, a bunch of metal chicken pins in your half chicken. Man, that's one thing, but man, if it's out of the cook's control, find a way to get it done. And man, hopefully, like I said, whether it's CBA, hopefully we're all not just, you know, I mean, it's unfortunate it happened to IBCA, but man, hopefully all sanctioned bodies are looking at it and using it to, man, hopefully not DQ the next guy that it happens to.
Yeah, well, I think they also need to think about the long-term implications too. Like this is not, I mean, if I had been in a points chase, this is the last month of IBCA's, you know, year, or the last month of their calendar year. So if I was in a point chase, that would have killed me. You know, I absolutely been destroyed if I was.
Appreciate it, Eddie.
If I was chasing points overall or in brisket or whatever, you know, that would have been.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, Brandon, man, you're not in a points chase, but man, there's a lot of guys there cooking that are, you know, and if you would have won that contest or RGC'd that contest, man, that could have changed some of the points of people that were chasing, you know. So it still had it probably still had an effect on the overall points chase.
Well, that's an excellent point because I know for a fact that Ira with that GC passed Randall for overall points in IBCA. So what if I had beaten Ira and gotten a GC, you know, then that Randall might still be on top, you know. So that affected it. I'm not saying I would have. I'm just saying, you know, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things change, yeah,
it changes a lot of stuff. It has bigger implications than just that one contest.
Appreciate it, Carl.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it, guys. Well, man, let's go ahead and bring in David. Let's see if he's
speaking of Chingle.
Speaking of Chingle, you know. And I don't know, David, you know, Brandon may not be familiar with your situation. I know all of us are, but man, Brandon may not be familiar with, I think you just sat there and heard his situation, but Eddie may not be familiar with yours. You know?
It's unfortunate.
Wes, where's the sound effects on Stacy's comment?
Oh my God.
Oh, what? Where's it at? Get the button. He's slow. We'll get Fred back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, it's unfortunate that it happened.
Finally.
A little slow on the draw today, Wes is, huh?
God.
I just got to check the tires, bro, and then you're calling me out. Appreciate that. I'm running
We are
back,
so
pissing all
canceled.
over my knees.
And we made it 20 episodes. Now we're canceled.
I just got my buttons fixed from Fred over here, just messing stuff up. But yeah, I'll just sit here and piss in this bottle. It's cool.
You're doing a great job, Wes.
Wow.
You guys continue, man.
Funny.
Sorry. Where were we at?
We're introducing David, and he can maybe tell Brandon a little bit about his Chingalade situation. You know,
Shit,
so.
it sucks, man. Like, but I mean, that's just the world we live in. All you can say is fuck them, put it in your back pocket, and move on, bro. That's all you can do. I mean, ain't no crying about it, right? At this point,
Man,
Just
and
make
I
it a
think the
bullshit
way you handled the American Royal, I think, was a class act as well. You know, and Brandon, in case you didn't know, man, David and his team, they were announced the winners of the Royal, only to get bumped down. Did you get bumped down to reserve? Is that what it was?
yeah, which is still equally as cool, right? But
Yeah.
no, it's it's all good, man. But
Yeah.
it sucks when that stuff happens. I mean, for a guy that clearly doesn't have any, that's that's almost even worse. I might have lost it just a little bit. Maybe. And I keep my cool pretty well, but I might have lost it for that one. But yeah, man, just keep your head up, stay in there, man. Keep cooking, right? Like, unfortunately, we love this enough to keep doing crazy shit, right? And this isn't the first or the last time that something crazy is going to happen. So let's keep it rocking.
Appreciate it, Jerry.
And thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it, bud. So,
What do you think?
yeah, well,
tonight, David?
Well, I've been sober for like 5 years now. So they started making these recessed zero proof cocktails. So I got a little bit of that, and I got a cooler full of some nah beers, as I call them down here. So we'll see what we can get into.
Cooler full. I like the way you roll.
does it
bro.
have any THC in it? Does it have any THC
No,
in it?
man. I like to.
Cooler full.
I snagged the lady's lunchbox. This quite floral pattern.
Always got to one up me.
Yeah, buddy. No.
Oh,
yeah.
That's funny.
Man, and you got to spend a little bit of time with the leprechaun up there, huh, David? I think you guys, you RGC'd, what was it, last week or?
Yeah, at
week before?
Owatonna, I managed to put together an RGC, right? We've been on that RGC run for what seems like forever. Like, I can't get a GC these days to save my life, and it was nice
Even
to
when
get
you
one.
get a GC, you can't get a GC.
Nope, just haven't earned
Man, I'm
it
sorry,
yet. You know
David.
what I mean?
I'm sorry.
Hey, if the first person to throw jokes about it is always me, right? And people always look at me like, why are you joking about that? I'm like, because what else?
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. But
Yeah.
that was actually my first RGC in Minnesota, believe it or not. I don't know how many cooks I've had in Minnesota, but that's the first RGC I've got in Minnesota. I realized that like just before hopping on here with you guys, that's pretty cool, right? And Phil was crazy
that was my
enough.
First, fifth overall in Minnesota.
You had a lot of first in Minnesota, didn't you? There,
And I think I'd done a little better if I hadn't turned in, ribs of concrete, but it is what it is.
Is that what happened to you up in Owatonna? You tried turning in tight
Oh,
food?
it was terrible, bro. I don't know. I mean, it was like, yeah, we're good. And man, I put them in the can, bro. And then, man, come to rib turn it. And, I started my finishing process, finished them. I put them on the board. And the first cut, I got the first rib, and I'm like, uh-oh.
There's not much
What
to do
the
at
fuck
that point,
is
right?
that? That's literally what I thought in my head. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. I could have started trying to jacquard them or something. I don't know. You can't fix that. It was not a good situation.
Yeah, man.
And
You
it was
just
just like
you just
a-
trim
it
off
was
all
a-
the
what
end
are you-
bones that are really like falling
I
out there.
don't
You just put
know.
all
I
those in the
cut
box.
them
You can go.
thin. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I've never in 359 cooks have been in that situation of what is this? So I even told Bill, I'm like, man, I had a great cook. Ribs were a little tight, and I'm like trying to stay optimistic, like maybe I can get by with it. And I didn't get by with it. I even got a comment card, little chewy. And I thought the guy was being nice,
Man, you got so many comment cards up here, though. What did you think about all those comment cards you got? Like traveling over to Wisconsin. I know that was nuts, man. You're crazy for doing it.
And
'cause I
it's
don't
the
even
only
like people in
comment card I
Wisconsin.
got in Owatonna was the chewy ribs, whatever, which was well deserved. I mean, I thought really they probably scored it better than I should have. I don't even remember what the score was, but it was 25th. And what do we have? 32, 33 10s or something like that.
Yeah.
So, man, it was down there. Wisconsin, man, day one. Man, I don't know if I got any comment cards. I think I did.
Didn't you get a brisket comment card talking about your brisket was a little, or was that Jeff? Jeff got a
It
meatloaf
wasn't
comment
mine.
card on his brisket or something. They don't like the meatloaf in Wisconsin, in case anybody's wondering. Do not give them any meatloaf. They are not loving it out
Man,
there.
I think he got a pot roast comment, maybe.
Oh, pot roast.
or-
Pot roast. That's what it was. Yeah.
So, man, day one I reserved. Man, I was just fortunate enough to lose that by half a point and one appearance score. You know, chasing 7. You know, that feels real good. You know, I mean, reserves are good. Man, I was stung a little bit. You know, it is what it is. That's the way they fall. I'm not sour, but man, you know, you're like trying so hard and you get so close and it's like, ouch. After last week in Minnesota, you know, man, you know, it was on me on the ribs. That was my fault, but I had a great cook day one, and I had a great cook day 2 as well. Man, they didn't like my brisket day 2, and we kind of compared with a few other people at table 582. I don't think they like barbecue, you know. So
that's the
also
consensus that people reach cooking over here, man. That's why you got to be, you know,
well,
our
I mean, that was
scores are
the only
always
table,
like
so
way low.
Yeah. Well, no, that was the only table. So like 8 turn-ins and that double in Wisconsin, and that was the one that I got a low score, right? I think brisket was 164, and it was 177, 178 first place on day one. And man, it was the same brisket. It was the same tenderness. Everything was the same, right? It was nails. So man, I'm glad I didn't bet on it because I lost a lot of money that didn't walk, right? And I'd have lost even more money saying it wasn't top 29. So it was 30th out of we have 37 teams, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. And stings a little, you know, but it is what it is. I mean, this is what we deal with all the time, right? This is, man, you keep cooking. You think you've seen it all, just keep cooking, right?
Yeah. And I think Jeff Vanderlyn, he puts it best, right? He was like, you know, you just got to cook through some of those bad tables, especially in KCBS up this way, right? Like you're just going to get hit with that.
You got to keep putting good food in front of them, and man, you take it when they come. That's all you can do, right? And not let it affect you to where you start changing your food, and then all of a sudden you're not putting good proteins in front of them and what they should be, right? So you can't get in your head. You got to know what you're doing and what you're turning in and where it should be, right? But you talked about the comment cards, and on day 2, man, I think I got 4. And man, I even thought in my brain, like, I don't know who to tell, but I appreciate every one of those comment cards because, man, they were very detailed. And man, I had like some 988s, and my biggest beef with KCBS and comment cards is, man, we're almost always dealing with 9s and 8s, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't really preach comment cards until we're talking about 6s. Man, if I get a 6 or 7, man, I probably know what I did, and I don't need you to tell me. Yeah. But if you gave me an 8, why was it not a 9? That's the most important piece of information that I could get. And man, I don't know where my sheets are at right now, but man, they were very detailed, and man, I'm getting comments on a 988, and they're telling me why it wasn't a 999, and I couldn't appreciate it more. And in fact, man, I don't know, I've done 50 or 60 KCBS contests, and that's the most constructive comment cards that I've ever gotten. So I was appreciative of them, you know. Nice. I didn't get any on the brisket that I was 30th with a 164. I got comments. So go figure.
Mine were a little ambiguous though, right? So like I had one comment on my pork that said this was day 2 that said it had a nice hint of smoke, and then the same comment card from a different guy said that the smoke was bitter. So I don't know who to believe, right? But I wasn't rolling.
Well, you need their address. You need to have a little chat with them.
I'm gonna send you over to Illinois to sort them out, man. I'm sure those judges were from Illinois. They got to be.
But yeah, man, it was a fun weekend, man. I really enjoyed cooking all 3 contests, you know, all 3 days that I ended up cooking up there, and it was a great time for sure for me.
Yeah,
I look forward to going back myself.
Yeah, you should bring Bill with you next time if you can get him to drive up here. It might take y'all.
Man, he'll hop in the truck. Bill ain't scared. Yeah.
Man, I thought about it. I did think about it, you know. So,
but man, I told him it was 63 degrees. He's like, I'm loading the wagon.
Yeah. And there was a qualifier, man, an hour from my house, and you know, we're all chasing qualifiers. Man, I was sitting on 4, and this one was an hour from my house. So, and I think Phil thought about going to it, but man, I think it's 5 or 6 hours from him, and he's like, and it's gonna be hot. And it was hot, but they did have some and they had some nice shade trees, so it worked out for me because I ended up getting the number 5. So
Nice.
but now we're all scattergun trying to find out, to get number 6 and get number 7. And me and Phil leave for Australia for the month of July. So we'll be over there, which isn't great for chasing bungs, if you will. We are going to cook 2 qualifiers, but we're kind of at the mercy of the meat we get from Australia. And from what I understand, they don't get the same ribs and the same pork that we're used to getting here in the States. So I'm going to practice some really thin rib cooking. I think I need to practice.
From ideal scenario when you need to pluck off a couple more to get to the jack. It's not how you tee it up, but it is what it is. So it won't keep us from trying any harder. And I think I did the math, Bill. I think we're down to roughly 6 bullets, not counting any doubles along the way. And we're doing 3 comps in Australia. Man, one of them's a 2-day and one's an invitational. I'm assuming that invitational won't count. I don't know, but I'm assuming it won't. So the other 2, man, we verified that will. So, man, we do have 2 bullets in Australia, and man, I think we got 4 more before we leave. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And I guess we got none when we get back from Australia. We're gonna live and die in Australia, huh?
That's it. Unless those comps are 2 weeks apart, and if we figure out, man, I think there's one in Italy on the weekend in between. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, as far as like if we really want to fire one more bullet, and man, Vanessa's not watching, is she? Because man,
no, she's probably not watching.
And Carmen's not either, but we'll talk about it later. We'll kind of on the down low and come up with a pretty good story on that. We'll look at it. We got to see how.
Man, I know some guys in Italy too. I do know some cooks in Italy, So
and it'd be pretty cool to auto 7 with 3 countries. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
Schaefer, he only needs 7 more. I think there's enough time.
Yeah.
And Schaefer's putting up 700s every week and can't win, So
that's rough, man.
Yeah, he's on a bit of a bad luck streak, I think, with the every week putting up a 700 and getting reserve or third. So
yeah,
but congrats on the reserve, Shafe. So
it's a reserve city around here. Congrats, David, on the reserve. Congrats, Phil, on the reserve. Congrats, Shafe, on the reserve.
Yeah, congrats
Brandon, almost getting a reserve. You know what I mean?
Almost
so yeah. Congrats, Vanessa, on the reserve dessert.
Yeah.
And she turned in a badass entry. Hey, so David, let's talk about this a little bit. So what I've kind of heard it's north of I-80? A little weird.
Where you don't want to cook? Where it gets weird?
Just where the scoring kind of gets
different.
And you can kind of have some fluctuations, where they might be rough on teams.
Yeah, so it's like shit, as soon as you cross that Iowa border, man, from KC, it's gonna get weird on you. Like it's just gonna get weird on you, man. No, in all seriousness, I think Ottumwa, Iowa, they have a contest down there. Those scores seem to be pretty consistent from year to year, and guys pop off 700, 800 down that way. Then once I think you get up towards like Mason City, and towards like in central Iowa, wherever that is. I don't know the highway markers. I don't have Google Maps in front of me, but you might be right. It might be I-80 or whatever. But I mean, our scores are just always
I-80 runs horizontal, right? So it's above that is what I've heard.
Where is that? Where is that?
Man, I have to Google. My North math ain't too good. I don't know where I-80 crosses. I've just heard that or whatever. So that maybe that's the Mason-Dixon line, if you will, for lack of a better word, going up in the KCBS to where it's like where you're saying, hey, man, there's 700s below it, man, maybe not 700s above it.
Yeah,
I mean, talking to you, man, you said, man, you prefer to cook south, like Iowa, Kansas City, Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, like I prefer to cook like southern Iowa and Missouri, KC, just because the scores are higher, right? Like I don't have a 7. I think I have. No, I don't have a 700 or a 180 here, right? South Dakota, I've managed to get a couple of 700s. All the other 700s and 180s that I've gotten have come from KC or Missouri, right? And I don't know if the judging is just tougher up here, or if the judges just don't like to give out higher scores, or if the judges are comparing our boxes like a mini contest within a contest on their table, which is kind of driving scores down, or why that's happening, right? But You know, it just
And
is
they ain't
like,
dishing out stickers for 687s. Sure.
actually, there is somebody that has stickers
shit.
from Minnesota, 687.
Sorry, bad information.
But I don't think anybody's given them out yet. But we've kicked around that idea, but I don't think anybody's actually.
Man, we just moved the benchmark.
Yeah, right.
Hey, David,
I mean, why not?
Hey, Mom's in the
Miss
comments.
Mary
So
has
she's
asked
asked,
twice about the kids' queue, and we don't want to piss her off. So when you get done, speak about the kids' queue if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I'm too old to cook kids' queue. In case you haven't noticed.
Hey, you need a
put
GC,
Hazel
bro.
in.
You need a
She's there,
GC.
right? Put
Dude,
Hazel in.
my daughter, she's crushing, man. She's GC'd her last 2 kids' queue cooks, right? So Minnesota in May, they gave her pork loin. She rolled that up into a nice little bacon wrapped pork loin and walked away first place compart pork there. And this past weekend, they gave her ground beef, and we were making tacos the other night, and she decided that that's what she wanted to do. So we went to the internet and found a slaw recipe and taco sauce recipe, and she threw that down, man, and she made some Korean beef tacos. That was absolutely they were good. I didn't get one. I think Phil and Mom ate my taco.
We might have. I didn't know you didn't get a bite. We gave you one, but yeah, me and Mom, we have that last taco, and they were out of bounds, man. They were so good.
Yeah.
Man, she crushed it on that, which is really cool. Really, really cool.
But I think
Go
she's 8. I think the positive thing about it is just her learning those life skills, man. Like, she's cooking at 8, probably gonna be a far better cook than Dad's ever gonna be, man. And it's just awesome, right? Like, I remember the dating days before I met Alyssa, man. Not that Alyssa can cook; she can't even boil water almost. But man, girls don't cook anymore,
you're
man.
gonna get a lot of brownie points out of that one.
They just don't. A lot of women, like when I was dating, a lot of women my age just didn't cook, man. So it's it's gonna be nice when Hazel she enjoys it, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, man. You had a nice grill going. She's up there, she's down there just mixing it up, making those tacos, dude. Man, awesome job. I always love seeing the kids cook and doing well. Man, we got some comments in there. Speaking of, Carly, and just crushing it out there, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm gonna retire pretty soon and let y'all take over. That's pretty fun to watch for sure. Congratulations.
Yeah, how old is Carly? How old is she?
15. Yeah, 15 years old.
She's 15.
Yeah.
So
we're losing 15-year-olds. So
is the Outlaw like another one of the 12 associations you guys have rolling down in Texas?
27. Yeah, 27.
It's one of the 27. And they do Outlaw does allow kids to actually cook in the, if you will, their master series. So man, and Carly's cooked 2 of them back to back and won both of them. So
oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah. What are they cooking?
She's won a bunch. I mean, she's actually, she's won the kids queue, I think, at Houston Rodeo, and she's pretty accomplished kids queue cooker, if you will. Man, she's obviously taking it to the next level and dragging some trophies without some of the big boys, if you will. So congrats to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big congrats. Fun to watch.
And they all have drama in them. But Brian, I want to ask Brian if they all DQ you for hair too. Too soon, Brian?
I don't know the meaning of too soon. That's all right.
Oh man, you just gotta make like hair in the boxing outlaws okay too. I hear you.
Well, Bill had a good point earlier. You really did, Bill. If nothing else, man, there's been a lot of conversations, and I think there's a lot of conversations like, "Hey, what do we do?" When you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a lot of
for sure.
Man. There's a lot of I guess discretion that's placed on the head judge, so it's up to them. And I don't know, should there be some consistency in that? So, man, maybe hopefully something good will come out of a bad situation. I seen a Perryman rule coming pretty soon. So,
well, and too, and I know for me as a chicken cook, when I cook my half chicken, man, I'm kind of threading the needle on doneness. I'm not trying to overcook the breast, if you will. So, man, I'm encouraged encourage the head judges not to DQ at the first sign of blood, because like I said, I do believe that, man, you dig into a half chicken, no matter how well it's cooked, man, you can find some blood. So,
why don't they just change it? So then you just cook chicken breast and you got to worry about it.
We got a backup producer in the comments. What'd you say?
Some sanctioning bodies in Texas, some sanctioning bodies, you have to cook a half chicken, So,
yeah.
Like I'm going this weekend, IBCA, you have to do a half chicken. Outlaw, I think you have to do, and so is Lone Star. I think CBA is the only one that allows. CBA, you could do just a chicken breast or chicken pieces, legs, thighs or whatnot. But some of them require a half chicken. So yeah, the more that we can get all these sanctioning bodies to, especially the mindset in some of these head judges that, man, these cooks spend $1,000 a weekend, and try to judge it, try to find a way to judge the protein. And they're not just, spending $1,000 just throwing money away, if you will. So
do they kind of
probably
do
are
the same
throwing
thing
money
that
away.
KCBS does, where they encourage them to like cook with the team, right? So they can see what it's like on the other side of the fence, or is that not a Texas thing, right?
Not yet,
None.
not yet, David. But man, you're right. KCBS does have their judges actually. To get a master's judge, you have to cook with the team. So that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I think
But it's not
most of
required.
us-
Yeah.
I think most
What'd
of
you
us
say,
have judged events before. I've judged CBA event,
Yeah.
Events just to get a good idea of what they're looking for from that end. So help make me a better cook. It should be vice versa.
Yeah, and we have it to where these event reps, KCBS calls them event reps, IBCA calls them head judges, and CBA calls them, I think, event reps as well, or ambassadors. Man, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have that to where they actually cook with a team and understand. And there's situations where some of our head judges are actually cooks, but there's also situations where, man, they've never cooked a day in their life and th're just a head judge. So
hairnets in the future. I'm not wearing a damn hairnet. I'm out.
right.
Yeah. It's already hot enough as it is.
Yeah. So
And
so
some of us
hopefully
don't like
it'll promote change, and all of barbecue, man, especially in Texas. I know I saw in some comments that St. Louis Barbecue Society doesn't DQ for hair. So, but man, these guys have encountered that before, so they've run into that situation to where, man, it's provoked change. So hopefully, like I said, man, for all of us in Texas, man, that won't be the case going forward, but we'll have to see, So.
Yeah, and I'm sure that this has happened much more than has been brought to light. I think part of the reason most of this been brought to light is, man, there was a hair found in someone with not hardly any hair, right? So brings in the questions of, man, what's right in this situation? I think if you got a person that has a lot of hair and then you have a hair, man, nobody really cares. Man, don't put your hair in a box. But man, it seems to be quite a different situation, or whatever. Hazmat suits.
But I think that's, it's like, Phil, you bring up a good point, right? Are the organizations learning that they need to make adjustments after these events are happening, right? Because, it's kind of destroying our livelihood a little bit, right? And we are, I think I've said this before on other podcasts, we are the customers of these sanctioning bodies, right? So they should be retooling their product to us so that it's easy for us to compete and consistent, right? So, hopefully, not just
100%,
Texas,
100%.
Everywhere.
Brandon's taking this.
We are the customers, and they need to work on their mousetraps for sure, because barbecue changes and it evolves, and the mousetrap needs constant attention. So, and if you're not working on the mousetrap, man, you're going to get passed up. So
you take the situation in a different light. Brandon's handled it very well. Man, if it's somebody else, they say, F this, I'm never cooking a comp again. And we just lost somebody to the sport, right? So, man, you got to look at those scenarios. And, man, I don't think anybody within the sport, from whatever avenue you're coming from, whether it's a cook, a promoter, a judge, wants to see the sport not grow or, decrease in attendance. So, we need to be looking at all of that.
Phil, both of you guys, y'all mind hitting Austin's question up, man? He's got two twin 6-year-olds and wanting to get into kids Q. How would you guys recommend, not to get too technical, or just give him some advice on this?
I think with Hazel,
Man, I'll be glad to talk. Go ahead, David. You talk about it first. Go for it.
With Hazel, I bought her Sansa brought her a pink little Green Mountain, like tiny little smoker, right? And she started cooking on that thing just at home, just tooling around with pork chops or whatever. And then I think her first contest was a pork loin, and we just put together, right? There's obviously she's afraid of the heat that's coming off of that thing a little bit, and she's got her goggles because it gets a little smoky. But this was the first one she actually cooked on the Weber, right? And I think she liked that a little bit better because it was live fire and a little less smoke there. But just getting them out there, get them start something easy. Reps builds. What's the word I'm looking for? confidence, right? So the more they can do it before they get out there, the easier it'll be, right?
Yeah, and I think it's really important. Reed, all my kids have kids cute. The 3 older ones are nearly grown, and cooking's not cool anymore. But I can't say that. Man, Kirsten went to nationals this week and got 6th in the nation in chicken, but she circled back. There was a void in that time frame where cooking wasn't cool. But Reed, I can speak specifically. He's 10 now, so man, he's been cooking kids Q since he's 4, and man, I've worked with him a lot, and Carmen's worked with him a lot, and man, our approaches are probably a lot different. But I would say it's very important to keep it pretty light. Make sure the kid's having a good time and enjoying it, because man, it ain't about winning. And there can be a lot of drama in Kids Q, and I think there should be zero drama in Kids Q. Man, I hear people, oh man, the dad cooked it and this and that, and I could give 2 shits less. Man, if that dad's out there cooking with the kid, man, I think it's cool that he's out there cooking with the kid. You know what I mean? So I'm out on the drama on the Kids Q. Get the kids out there, man, introduce them to it, let them have fun with it, and keep it pretty light. And you got to do it by age. Man, it's different with a 6-year-old than it is with a 12-year-old. So keep in the mindset of, the kids' age and how much you're trying to put on them, and keep the pressure off of them. That's just my approach is, man, let them have fun with it. Man, Reed has fun with it. And my approach is, man, I kind of let him do whatever he wants. And, whatever you think, bud, don't drop it. And he's dropped it. And tears got to fall. My head got and Carmen's a little more, they're a little more rigid on the instructions or whatever. And I'm like, man, yeah, cook it and get it in the box. Keep it light, keep it fun, man. And I'm glad to see any parent out there putting their kids in Kids Q or encourage them to cook, man. It's just good for everybody doing that, right? It's the future of our sport. And like David said, it's a life skill, man. It's not just a Kids Q in a sport. It's a life skill they can take with them, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. And even you, Phil, touching on, man, staying away from the Kids Q drama. I think all the drama, for the most part, and none of it's good for barbecue. I know cooks that don't want to cook because they think there's drama, and man, I think we should all do our part to try to, man, eliminate as much drama as possible. Man, it's probably easier said than done, but man, if people see a bunch of drama on Facebook and a bunch of stuff, man, it probably turns people off, and it's not good for our sport, so.
Yeah, hopefully, at least for this week, we've got it all out of our system, so it is.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah.
Hopefully so. Hey, it's early in the week.
It is only Tuesday. It is only Tuesday, So,
man, I'm going to start splitting hairs.
Well, when I GC Hempstead this weekend, then I'll get it out of my system.
There you go.
Man,
there you go.
That's how you follow that up, Brandon. Man,
Brandon, I'll get you those notes, bro. I appreciate your, paying for them. I'll get them over to you tonight. Okay. Too soon.
I don't need it. I took Bill's class, so don't worry. I paid for it.
Wait, you can get LC's barbecue in Bill's class?
No, you have to go to the black market for those.
David, at my store, you can get everybody's class. You just look. We'll barter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I've got it all, man.
I like it.
Oh shit. Never a dull moment. That's for sure.
No.
Sean said challenge accepted.
Yeah, and trainer's got something for you, Brandon. I think he says you both can't GC.
We'll probably be cooking next to each other, so we'll see. I'll have to go sabotage his one of his meats or something.
Yeah, man, I think I
Just
saw
a bunch of hair in there.
a little bit ago. David, what you got on the schedule coming up? You going to Iowa this week?
Yeah, man. That's pretty much the only thing. I was looking for another contest to see if there's anything else that might be around, but that's the only one that's within 500 miles of the house, so that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Right
on.
So, what does your schedule look like? I mean, as far as comps, are you 10 a year, 15 a year, David? As far as
I think I'm probably
geographically located.
Yeah, I get to probably about 18 to 22 this year. I'm actually going to take the whole month of July off just because we got soccer and a whole bunch of other stuff happening. And I'm going to hit it pretty hard in August in hopes of maybe catching a little heat before rolling into the Royal and rolling into the Jack and the end of the season there. So we'll see what happens, but Not much. This is the last one for a little bit till August or so. But I'll probably get a wild hair up my my ass before then. Have to go cook something.
You had to go
How
there.
far is it for you to?
You
How
go
far is
there.
it for you to go down to Kansas City and cook? Because they've got comps pretty much most weekends, huh?
Yeah, that's so it's only like 8 hours, man. But I mean, the thing there is a lot of those contests are only like $5,000, right? And
Yeah.
like that's the total, right? That's we're not in this for money, but I'd at least like to make a little gas money, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so it depends, man. It just mostly just how we what we got going and how we feel. So
Right.
8 hours. We do that. We call that breakfast.
Yeah, you can't leave Texas for 8 hours. You know.
No, I hear you. Like it's like driving 12 hours to get across the country, though. It's but I mean, like if you could go home with a brand new trailer, that's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't be fooled. There's plenty of $5,000 ones down here as well. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no doubt.
you know.
I trekked back from Minnesota Monday. I did all the heavy lifting. I went about 800 miles. I went through 5 states and stayed in Oklahoma City. And then, man, this morning was easy. It was like 500 miles. You know what I mean? It's like in 2 states. Yeah. So, man, everything gets a little harder once you finally get out of get in Texas. It gets a little harder. It gets a little longer. Big state.
Yeah. Well,
man, I don't know, Brian.
Texas store. We'll see.
Trailer's a little small. I don't see it working in our game plan. So, man, I don't know.
It's
might be
smaller
down the
than
road.
one you got. That thing's micro.
Well, the one I want's not a barbecue trailer, right? And it's a off the grid, and it's a like transformer, and you know what I mean. I don't know.
Panel.
Trying to think, like, man, it would be a pretty cool like solo, like, man, I don't know, 2-month road trip trailer, but man, I'm not going to use it till next summer at the soonest. So how practical is it, man? I don't know. So whatever, man. It wasn't like I was going to tell them I'm not picking it up.
Yeah.
I guess you can always resell it.
Yeah.
Oshkosh, that looks like a Wisconsin contest. I'd say just go over to Wes's website there and Shank and Shig and grab Phil's notes. He's got Wisconsin pretty much locked up there. But no, in all seriousness, keep it tender and keep it simple, baby. You should be good to go, especially over there, Wisconsin, Illinois. You got to do anything crazy, right?
Man, for all the people who ask, because I get it all the time, man, I cook the same thing in Wisconsin that I do in Texas. So,
right,
whatever.
Yep.
Man, if you're taking the class, go to Wisconsin. You ought to do okay.
Oh, there was another team that was up here that did pretty well at that contest from Texas a few years back, actually. So I wasn't surprised you did so well up there.
Yeah,
but he had a rough day on day 2. His rough day 1 at that contest. But I don't know
who was that. Do you remember, David, or no? Do you remember who it was?
Are we allowed to say boomerang on this show?
Yeah.
It was those guys when they were. I think he was chasing number 7 too. As a matter of fact, he had bringing home the bacon. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yep.
Man, anything north of I-20 is not Texas. Just saying.
I don't know where.
Trying to start a war, man. I love you guys too. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. And here comes damn Yankee coming in hot.
Where's damn Yankee living at? Is that
Here we go.
He lives in Oklahoma. He lives in Oklahoma. Well, we don't claim him, you know.
So anything north of Dallas, I guess.
He's an Oklahoma boy saying "Sing It, Frank" every night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And speaking of, so Shane did, man. I was sitting in a bar. Well, man, I guess that was Friday afternoon, maybe, when we got to the comp, and we had the man. So we had the one meat, the rib, and I did that Friday night. But man, I kind of got settled in this and that, and it was lunchtime. So yeah, me and Mom went into town and hit one of the bar and grills because there's a lot of bar and grills up y'all's way. You know, I mean, there's a ton of bar and grills and
churches, bars, and grills,
man, and most all of them, man. We never hit one over the 2-week period that did not have a badass burger. You know what I mean? And they were all different, and they were all really good burgers. So man, we just get the burgers wherever we went. But I'm sitting there, and there's this there's a Fireball man, dispenser, like, man, like you're gonna go
handle.
Yeah, oh yeah, tap handle and everything. So I take
Yeah.
a picture of that. I send it to Shane, for Fireball Lacey or whatever. Man, he had to go. So, and then Shane texts me back, man, get you a spotted cow. And okay. And sure enough, man, Greg, who was hanging out with Jeff this weekend, man, he had a bunch of spotted cow. You want one? Yeah, man, I'd like to have one. And he fed me a few of those, and man, I turned on to the new beer, man. Why do I always have to like the stuff that's so hard to get?
Well, it's not hard, man. All you gotta do is just text your northern buddies when you're getting ready to head out this way. We can make sure you're hooked up.
Man, I drink a lot of beer, bro. It's gonna be you're gonna get tired of me texting.
You didn't see me post about it the week before at all, did you? That shit is phenomenal. That is the best beer in the world.
What I think I heard like $50 a case is a going price. I mean,
Only
I'll
in
bring you all the
Colorado.
beer you want at $50 a case.
If you bring it south, we'll buy it.
Man, Wes will trade you some notes for it.
Hey, David, they may even be your notes, but I need my case.
Make it your own notes.
I'm going to give you some notes.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, man, I think we touched on about all the drama going on this week.
That's
Did
what
we
this
miss
show is
anything?
about.
And did we
Man, I'm
miss
not
anything
sure.
in the comments? Let us know, people.
Absolutely. No, it's man, y'all guys had a hell of a weekend. When are you coming south, David? Any chance we can get you below the Mason-Dixon line?
Yeah, I'll be in Iowa. Isn't that south of the Mason-Dixon line?
Dude, that's
No.
God.
The Texas
No.
border is what we're talking
In
about.
Texas border. I was telling Phil that I'd like to do that, like the whole, like in January and February. I'd like to do the whole rodeo tour deal, if I can get that lined up. And I made good friends with the guys, the Go Texan teams that was parked next to me at Houston.
Jasper County. Yep.
Yeah, Jasper County. They invited me to come down and hang out with them and cook something in August or in
Nice.
April. In April, so I'm gonna see if I can get that on my calendar next year. But I'd like to spend some time down there. I've got a bunch of family in Houston, so it'd be nice to tool around in Texas for a little bit, man. That'd be fun.
Man, you should go to Smoking on the Rio.
Yeah.
That should
Pine
be
Bluff,
the
Arkansas, $75,000. When is that? Like September? I think it's in September.
Can I take a shit in your trailer, Wes? Come to Arkansas.
Too low, bro. No. That's too low. You waited an hour and 3 minutes to go ahead and talk about shitting in my trailer. I appreciate it, dude.
Hey, we call that a circle back. That's a circle back.
them are fighting words.
No, you know what? It was pretty cool because Eric that runs Smoke on the Shores was actually up in Iowa or up in Wisconsin this weekend, right? He stopped by and he said, if you really want to come back down that way, you guys would help us out. So we're gonna figure it out, man. See if we can't see a little bit more of this great country and
man.
barbecue. That'd be awesome.
Man, if I were you, David, I would do 2 contests. If you're going to do Texas, man, come and do Smoking on the Rio, which is it's on the border down, by the Rio Grande Valley. And then the next week is the CBA World
It's on
Championship.
everybody's list to win. If anybody wants to win a contest, it's Smoking on the Rio. Just saying.
Those
Is that
two.
actually a real contest? Because I'm starting to think it's not a real deal.
No, it is real. It's very real.
Are we sure this isn't just in Fred's backyard and he's just going to take us fishing and we're going to have a fish fry?
We can do all that during the week, but it is a real contest. And it's 200 plus teams, and Phil GC'd it this year. That's why he likes to circle back. But it is.
It's a circle back always. Look at this shit.
Texas,
What in the hell?
You can't even
Send
put
me
a
the
picture up
pictures so I
straight.
can put it up, Phil. Let's get this right. And
Hey,
by the way,
can you
I'm
fix
coming to
it for me,
Denny Beach in
Wes?
September. I'm coming to Texas. I
I
already
did
told
that
everybody.
last week, and Fred fixed it for me.
Let me tell you, Fred doesn't. No, we're not going there. It's too late in the show. Too late in the show. I saw Fred with his hands in his pocket the entire time.
Man, I was
I
trying to
think
pull
Fred
up
was
the
on a
background, Bill, and I was on the edge of my seat. What was the other contest? Was it Smoking on the Rio and Smoking on the Rio? Or
Yeah. CBA World Championship. Man, let's
he's
go
getting
here.
better.
You've got a YouTube channel, Machete Boys. Yeah. Are y'all doing?
Yeah, I do. I do. I really don't know what to do with the channel right now. I'm struggling because I was going to do a podcast to shoot the shit and with a bunch of other barbecue guys, but some other asshole took that idea. So kind of trying to figure out.
And there's room for more, bro. And just don't pick Tuesday nights, you know.
Well, Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. That's my window. We got soccer this day, that day. That was my window. You know what I mean? No, I enjoy teaching, and it's just mostly for me as a matter of time of trying to film it and then to edit it. And I'm a little bit, kind of a perfectionist, and I've kind of got to let a little bit of that go. But there's a few videos out there. Some of it might be helpful, some of it might be junk, but just trying to make the most of it and see if I can help anybody create the best stuff I can. Fred's available right now.
Go check it out. YouTube, check it out.
Yeah. So. Your show won't make it past 5 episodes, but bring them on, bro.
I want to tell everybody thanks for noticing my, on the air.
It's hard to see though, Phil.
Oh, he's got it on the air sign.
He's got to turn down your lights.
It comes in and out. When I'm in the picture, it goes away, and when I'm out of the picture,
turn down your light. Phil, turn down your light. Like you,
David, I don't know how to do that, man. I reached out to the producer, and you're like, I don't know how to do that either.
We couldn't even get him to do the voice anymore. Can you do that one time?
Can we change the name to Shit Show Podcast or something? We don't shit on this show so far.
Yeah,
and
shit and fried.
Shit show. Wes is normally dragging shit out of people by this point, huh? He's
right.
Probably
he's got everybody's notes now. I don't know what else is a drag.
Yeah. I'm starting this new little business. Yeah. Hey, I've already been hit up on the side. I just want you guys to know. So we're going to start leveling playing field around here.
Just don't put hair in your brisket. That's the first thing.
Right. That's exactly right. Situation could get hairy. So. You're gonna be getting hair jokes for a while, Brandon. I trust you know that. So
if you don't go to your next one, no eyebrows, no hair, nothing. You need to go there looking like a thumb the next time you show up.
He's gonna get sponsored by a wax company before it's over with.
Nair, get him sponsored by Nair.
I'm serious. No, nothing.
Brendan have alopecia? No, he just competes in barbecue.
No. Man, you know what? Karma's real though. You're probably gonna knock off the next 7 cooks will all be GCs for you, man. You'll be sitting at the Jack and Phil and Bill will be sitting at home. Right. It's not very happy, you know what I mean?
Well, man, I will tell you, you're right about that, Dave. I do believe karma is real, and man, Phil's running a very successful business, and man, I don't say this to him a lot, but man, he's running a very successful business, and I think it's, man, a lot to do with his and how he operates, and he's a straight up motherfucker, you know what I mean? So, man, that goes a long way when you're straight up, so. And there's a lot of people that aren't straight up, man, and they've kind of dwindled out and died. And man, he has stayed consistent and stayed strong this whole time. So, man, he may feel like he's losing with all this bullshit going on, but he's really winning, So,
yeah.
And he'll continue to win, So,
man, I'll tell you this. I'll comment 2 seconds on it. I'm already past it, Man, I've said my piece, man. I've said how I feel, and man, I'm already past it. So. Man, whatever. It is what it is. I am, man, and I appreciate it, man. I got a lot of phone calls today, probably more than I've ever got in my life, and man, there's a lot of people don't hang it. Man, my head ain't hanging. But I do appreciate the phone calls. Man, I didn't want to be wishy-washy, and I want people to know where I stand. Man, I put my heart into this, everything I got into it, and man, I don't approve, so, and it ain't just for me. Man, it's for everybody else teaching classes and out there busting their ass, making a living. Man, don't be a shitty person. Man, don't fuck people over. Man, don't be a shyster. Man, everybody's out there. Man, it's cool to support small business. Are you? Or are you trying to fuck them? You know what I mean? You're on Facebook going, support small business, and you're out there going, man, can I have some free shit? Man, they're sending me stuff. Will you sponsor me? I never tasted your shit, but will you send me some free shit? Is that how you support small business? Anyway, let me get off that box. That ain't me. But man, I got it out. It is what it is.
Y'all remember the discount code for 90% off is fuck them. Remember that. So, I love you, Phil, but I'm selling your shit. Just saying. I'm a small business too. I got to eat. You keep winning, I keep stealing.
I'm still sipping. Yeah, man, it is what it is, man. They're all out there. There's all kinds out there in every facet of the world, you know. And barbecue, the competition barbecue is not immune to it. So whatever, man. It is what it is, and man, I've said my piece, and we'll move forward. You know,
Man,
whatever.
I think it's good for barbecue because, man, I've had people message me going, man, I'd never sell your notes. And it wasn't even me posting it, you know. So, man, it is what
these
it is.
people have spent their hard-earned money, you know, taking a class, right? And man, you're just gonna go whore yourself out like that, man. What kind of ethics do people have, right? I mean, man, Bill, you said it right. Karma's real. You know what I mean? These people got to live with that, man. You know, I don't know. It's shitty. It is what it is.
No, I agree. Look, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon here, and we can all jokes aside. We all talk. We're all good friends. Y'all never asked for stuff. I just purchased stuff today, both of y'all's products. I mean, you know, I could reach up and, hey, how about sending your boys some stuff? Dude, this is your business. This is your livelihood. That's taking food off your table. You know, this is a for-profit business, and if we can't help each other, then, you know, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, man. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to come off the wrong way. I get messages and phone calls, man, endless, all days of the week. It never ends. And help me on this, and that, or whatever. And I don't mind helping people. Man, pick up the phone and call me. Man, if you want the book, you're probably not going to get it. You need to come take the class. But if you're struggling in some part, man, I don't mind having a conversation about it. See if I can't help somebody out. Man, if you want to talk about my products, pick up the phone and ask me. I don't know how many times a day I explain the difference in my products, how I like to use them. Man, I'm selling the products and I owe that to somebody buying it, right? Man, I'm not putting products out there. It ain't snake oil. Man, I use my shit, but man, I'm pretty much the last one talking about it. Man, I don't do that. Man, I go out there. I like to compete and I like to kick ass. But man, you got questions? Man, let me know. I'll be glad to talk about it. Man, I'm not up on the stage just preaching, go buy my shit all the time. But that's what I use. Man, it works pretty damn good for me.
Yeah. David, question for you, brother. You got any classes that you've done or you're thinking about doing in the future? Anything?
Actually,
any books you want to sell?
So I do quite a few classes up at Smokestack Barbecue Supply Store here. Yeah. We don't have any on the docket here yet, but I did get hit up just a couple of days ago. I am cooking at some small podunk town in Wisconsin, like intro to KCBS class. That's a 101. It's supposed to be like a 4-hour event in the afternoon. I'm probably going to post something about that on my social media page, so that people can follow us and take a look out there, and we'll get that rocking and rolling. But I think the daytime of that class is going to be taught by someone, and they're going to teach like kind of, you know, snacks and kind of basic stuff. And in the afternoon, we're going to get into an intro to KCBS, and we're going to run through all 4 meats and try and get it done in 4 hours. So it should be a good one, man.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is. I saw you on, I think it was YouTube, or what you had some videos on social media the other day, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I try. I mean, I'm not as savvy as Phil, you know, with the camera, but you know, I'm out here doing what I can with my GoPros.
Did you say Bill or Phil? You said Bill, right? Because I kind of heard
Bill has Polaroids. He's actually in there taking pictures and fanning the picture, looking at it.
I'm Bob Lawson. Man, I'm painting the motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
He's doing a police sketch of his fucking rib box.
Yeah, right. No, lots of filters on that. What's that filter that you like there, Bill?
Man, there's a bunch of them, bro. There's a bunch of them. You know,
catalog stick.
And it's getting deeper every week, man.
Man, new class coming. The barbecue.
Yeah. Maybe you should just start selling like filters for barbecue, Bill, so that way people could just put the chicken fried look on things. You know what I mean?
I've thought about it. I've given a couple of filter classes. I gave one to Janky, and he was like, "Oh my!" I think Chris Schaefer sent me his pork box, and man, I put some filters on it and sent it back. So he's like, "Wow, man, whose is that?" I'm like, "That's yours," you know.
Man,
that's awesome.
Don't let me skip that. Bill's taught me, I don't know how many filter classes. He's always, man, check this out, bro. And he's into something. I'm not tech savvy like that. And Bill's, man, he's cutting edge on staying ahead of all that stuff. Does a good job at it.
And you've been drunk every time he showed you. It never works out.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I'm like, bro, can you just do it? Like, quit showing me. And here's my phone.
This is what it looks like. Every time Bill shows him something. You never tell me.
Well, my newest thing is CapCut, and I'm discovering I'm scratching and sniffing on CapCut, which
Dude, isn't that an awesome tool, man? Like, if anybody out there isn't using CapCut and is making reels, like CapCut is dope. And like, have you figured out how you can export? Like, so say you find like a track that you like in Instagram, right? Then you're gonna make a reel to that. It's gonna get real nerdy, Phil. Just take a shot.
No, David, we talked about this. I'm going to send you my 115,000 pictures on my phone, and you're going to do my shit. Because content, man, I can't edit. I'm horrible. Yeah. Man, the stuff I put out there is a tenth of 1% of what I've got now. Man,
I don't know if mine's much better, but yeah, you can download that. Download those tracks, man. Load it up into CapCut. Export the audio so that way you can sync your cuts with the audio from whatever you're grabbing from Instagram. It's a little bit of work.
That's a pro move, man. I haven't discovered that yet, but man, I see what you're saying.
It doesn't sound bad, but is that before or after the flux capacitor? When does that come?
It's during the flux capacitor.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Man, I don't want to learn a new. I'm getting old. I don't want to learn new shit.
Just set one of those kids loose on it. You'll have so much.
I know it, man. I'm trying. Hey, shout out to Bo. Man, Bo did a little. Man, he did a little couple week tour too up north. I think he hit Indiana and maybe Tennessee, right? So, man, it's pretty cool. I like seeing anybody going out of their comfort zone to, man, go out there and cook a new contest and. Man, if nothing else, you're going to learn something. So that was pretty cool to see. And David, to your comment coming down here to cook Texas and anybody else outside of Texas, man, Texas is a big state. Man, we know a lot of people need something. Man, message us, shout out, whatever. And man, we'll hook you up. If it ain't my part of the state, man, I got a lot of stuff. I'm glad to help. Man, there's plenty of people in Houston, all the big cities. And man, we pretty much know somebody in every city. So you guys need something, you want to come down here and cook, then we'll do everything we can to make it easy and make it happen because I think that's great for the sport, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I met those guys in Covington, Tennessee, totally bodacious, awesome folks, man. And they were going around cooking and traveling and making one big circle back to Texas. And it was, man, just that's what it's about, you know? Great people.
Man, I probably hadn't been to 3 states in my life before barbecue, and man, that was 2 more off the list, and I think I'm up to 20 now. You know, like 20 states I've cooked in. So, man, pretty fun to go cook and see the country and see different parts of the United States, and man, especially meet the people that are there. Man, can't say enough about how nice the people were, and you know, I mean, it's a new experience. You're meeting new people, and it don't matter if you're in Texas or you know, Arizona or North Carolina or Minnesota or Wisconsin, man, there's great people in barbecue and man, it's just a new group of people and expanding that barbecue family. It's good stuff.
And if everybody's still listening, if you still have some of Phil's drums in your garage that we don't know about, can you comment on here? Because we need to get an itinerary. There's probably 20 states that still
I don't know where I got shit stashed.
And that's no joke, people.
Wes was holding some in his garage for a while, I think.
I had 3 that I had to hit him up and be like, hey, bro, I
don't think I ever touched them, to be honest with you.
Never touched them.
Are they brand new?
I bought them. Never touched them, never cooked on them, never moved them, and sold them.
David, I
owned them in theory for a little while.
I met him one time. He was like, hey, bro, I like you. You think I could store 3 drums in your garage? I loaded them up, brought them down.
And Wes said, sure, if you give me your notes.
Remember, discount code.
There's a storage fee that goes with that. It's not expensive. Yeah,
but
then I got kicked off tour. Man, we're gonna rip that Band-Aid off.
Right.
How many?
They'll still get you walks.
Yeah, still get you what 170s across the board. How many? So do you have a bunch of storage units all over the place, Phil? Then, or you had like what's going on?
Man, not anymore. No, nothing like that, man. I just get in the truck and drive. Driving don't bother me anymore, man. I'm fortunate to do barbecue for a living, so I don't have a day job. I'm not fighting the Monday to Friday gig, and man, I can hop in the truck on Tuesday and man, be in Minnesota early Wednesday morning or whatever. It's pretty much anywhere in the country's a 2-day trip or less. So, man, whatever, man, I just get in and go.
It's called blessed right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All barbecue, baby. I was amazed to learn that you built it all, man. That's pretty sweet because you don't hear that very often that people are able to sustain themselves and their families just for barbecue. That's awesome, man. That's
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You got the hardest job in the world, though, man. You got to win, and you do. So, you just
I don't know if you do, but I like to win, and man, I think if there's a point where I'm not winning much, I don't know how much heart I can put into it, man. Reed, get in there. You know what I mean? I'll pass that torch. Man, I don't do too good with not winning for very long, so I don't know. We'll fight that battle when it gets there.
Well, I think Bo had asked where we're going. I'm gonna head to New Mexico. There's an IBCA in New Mexico. It's a 50-50. So there's 2 bungs in New Mexico, and with me sitting on 5, if I go there and get 6, and man, that's all I end up getting is 6. Man, at least I have a 50-50 in New Mexico. But man, that's all contingent on me winning New Mexico, which as you guys know, man, there's no laydowns anywhere. There's going to be with it being a 50-50, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of cooks that are having the same mindset to get a 50-50 to the jack. And man, it's just on the other side of the border for Texas. So I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a few solid cooks that show up. So
yeah,
but man, that's where I'll be. Provided, man, everything goes well with my trailer and all the rest of it. So, and I make it there,
Where are you at next, David?
We're going down to State Center, Iowa next weekend. Just about 4.5 hours down the road, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Brandon, your barbecue store. Yep.
I'll be in Hempstead at the barbecue store. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I don't know, Phil, have you decided where you're going or no?
He's going.
Yeah,
Carolina.
I'll either be in South Carolina or Texas or a different state.
Right.
I just got home today, and man, I like to sit in the captain's chair, get the laptop out, and really dissect that. So I haven't stamped it yet. So we'll see. I'm going to be at a qualifier somewhere, and I'm going to take a different approach. Man, David, you're going to the Jack this year, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. So I hit Pam up a couple months ago, and I'm like, Pam, man, I have 7 reserves at qualifiers. Can I get like a half a month? You know what I mean? And Pam wasn't having none of it, right?
Yeah.
So, man, now I'm up to 10. I have 10 reserves at qualifiers, and I'm like, look, how about for every 5 reserves at qualifiers, you get 1 bung?
Let's do it,
right?
baby. Send it.
And by that math, man, sitting on 5 bungs, I've got 10 reserves. Man, that's 7. Man, where's the auto? And she's like, man, reserves don't get you to the jack. And I'm like, what about David? What about David?
Fuck you, Phil. Oh, man.
I wasn't trying to get you out of the jack. I'm trying to get me to the jack.
Yeah, I see how it goes. I see how you do it. Oh, man.
It's ruthless. It's ruthless. It's a ruthless sport,
Too soon. Hadn't been a year yet. In all seriousness, man, to you and Brandon, man, you both handled a bad situation well. What do? Man, you deal with it. Maybe you make light of it. Hopefully some people learn stuff. You move forward, and man, kudos to you guys for handling a bad situation very well.
Yeah. Hey, who's Brian Fox? He said I could cook his entries at Houston. I'm looking to find somebody whose entries I can cook in Houston.
Messaging Brian. Yeah, Brian's Houston area. So,
yeah.
And we're starting to get low on spotted cow. I can tell you that.
Yeah, man, we're an hour and 24 minutes. If Wes has anybody got anything, if not, we'll close her down and start prepping for.
No, we had everything answered as it came through, man. Appreciate you guys answering those questions. We actually had a decent amount tonight. So good
Yeah.
show. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dave, for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Did you guys make any money today?
Appreciate it, Brandon. Sorry all that happened to you, brother. You will get your GC very soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Brandon. Hey, David.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you,
And
Machete Boys, y'all go follow them up. You know,
around with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We hope to see some of you guys back up north here very soon.
appreciate it. Wes, you gonna take us out or what? There we go.
Always got you, baby. You don't have to ask.